Hello students, welcome to today's class. Today we will start the chapter Light, Reflection and Refraction. Children, we see a variety of objects around us. However, we are unable to see anything in a dark room. But as soon as we lit up some source of light, things become visible. So what does this mean? What makes things visible? Perhaps you all have guessed. It is light which makes things visible, and light is nothing but a form of energy. When light falls on an object, it is bounced back or it reflects back, and this reflected ray, when is caught by our eyes, things become visible. You may recall in your junior classes you have also studied that light travels in a straight line. Different common phenomena like formation of shadows, formation of images by mirrors and lenses, bending of light by a medium, then twinkling of stars, formation of a rainbow, etc. are different phenomena that are caused because of light, and this we will be taking up further in this chapter. A highly polished surface such as a mirror reflects most of the light falling on it. You are already familiar with the laws of reflection of light. Let us recall these laws. The first law states that the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection, and the second law states the incident ray, the normal to the mirror at the point of incidence, and the reflected ray all lie in the same plane. These laws of reflection are applicable to all types of reflecting surfaces, including spherical surfaces. Now you are familiar with the formation of image by a plane mirror. What are the properties of image formed by a plane mirror? A plane mirror is one which has a plane reflecting surface, commonly the looking glass which we use at our home. The properties are: the image formed is always erect. Like, say for example, when you stand in front of a plane mirror and you look at your image, you see that you are standing upright, right? So this is because image formed by a plane mirror is always erect. Another property is that the image formed is of same size as that of the object, and the image is at same distance from the mirror as the object is. Another interesting property of image formed by a plane mirror is of lateral inversion. What is it? It means when you look at a plane mirror, your right looks left. This is called lateral inversion. Let us understand spherical mirrors. Spherical mirror is a mirror whose reflecting surfaces are not plane but spherical. That is, either it is bulged in or bulged outside. A very simple example: you can take a large shining spoon and you try to view your face in its curved surface, where one surface is cave-like, it's inside, and the other is bulged outside. So the one which is bulged inside, that is the cave-like structure, is the concave side, and the reverse side is the convex side. So this is how exactly spherical mirrors look like. Now see what happens when light rays pass through a concave mirror. When light rays pass, then they always converge or meet at a single point on the principal axis. That is why a concave mirror is also called a converging mirror. Now in case of convex mirror, when light rays passing parallel to the principal axis, after reflection they diverge, and that's why a convex mirror is called a diverging mirror. Before we move further on spherical mirrors, we need to recognize and understand the meaning of a few terms. These terms are commonly used in discussions about spherical mirrors. Pole. The center of the reflecting surface of a spherical mirror is a point called the pole. It lies on the surface of the mirror. It is represented by capital P. The center of the spherical mirror is called the center of curvature and is denoted by capital C. Note that the center of curvature lies outside its reflecting surface. Also remember, the center of curvature of a concave mirror lies in front of it. However, in case of a convex mirror, it lies behind the mirror. The distance PC is equal to radius of curvature. Imagine a line passing through the pole and center of curvature of a spherical mirror. This line is called the principal axis. Remember, the principal axis is normal to the mirror at its pole. A number of light rays parallel to the principal axis after being reflected by a concave mirror fall or intersect at a point. This point is called the principal focus. It is represented by the letter capital F. The distance between the pole and the principal focus of a spherical mirror is called focal length and is represented by the letter small f. So these are the various terms used in the study of spherical mirrors. Also, for spherical mirrors of small apertures, the radius of curvature is found to be equal to twice the focal length. So we can say R is equal to twice f. Let us now understand how to obtain images formed by spherical mirrors. Consider an extended object of finite size placed in front of a spherical mirror, and each small portion of this object acts like a point source. And so an innumerable number of rays originate from each of these points. Now, to construct the ray diagrams, in order to locate the image of an object, a large number of rays coming from the point can be considered. However, it is not possible to consider such number of rays. So what we can do, we can conveniently consider any two rays which will intersect at a point. The intersection of at least two reflected rays give the position of image of the point object. Any two of the following rays can be considered for locating the image. A ray parallel to the principal axis after reflection will pass through the principal focus in case of concave mirror, while in case of a convex mirror it appears to diverge from the principal focus. Now let's see another ray. In case of a concave mirror, a ray of light passing through the focus after reflection goes parallel to the principal axis, just the opposite of what we have seen in the first case. In case of a convex mirror, a light ray directed towards the focus after reflection goes parallel to the principal axis. In the third case, a ray of light passing through the center of curvature of a concave mirror after reflection is reflected back along the same direction, and the same happens in case of a convex mirror also. Now let us consider a ray incident obliquely to the principal axis towards the pole of the mirror. In both the cases, a light ray directed obliquely at the pole is reflected obliquely, making an angle with the principal axis. Hence, out of these four rays, for obtaining images through any spherical mirror, we will every time consider any two rays. And the point of intersection of these two reflected rays will give the position of image. So students, I hope the concepts that we have discussed today are clear. Try to solve the questions included in the practice session to ensure learning. If you like my video, kindly like, share and subscribe.